Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in. This is Big Board Politics, and today we are going to look at the best path for Democrats to win the presidency in 2020. So my most recent video before this was Trump's easiest path to victory in 2020. So now we're going to look at the flip side of that and analyze what the Democrats' best way of getting to 270 electoral votes is. So when we take a look at this electoral map, and as I've said in other videos, the two states that are definitely by far the likeliest to flip back to the Democrats are Michigan and Wisconsin. And I said that because in my video that highlighted the three counties that decided the election, the counties that were in Michigan and Wisconsin were there because the turnout was so much lower than it was in 2012 and 2008 that margin is what actually ended up being the difference for Trump. So in winning those states. So if you're a Democrat, you have to assume that the next Democratic candidate isn't going to take these two states for granted, and they're going to put money into the states. They're going to campaign, especially in Milwaukee and Detroit, the two biggest cities in each state. And you have to assume if they do that and they hit the turnout numbers that they could if they're engaged in the state, you have to assume that these two states are going to flip back to Democrats in 2020 just based on the fact that how many votes were left out on the table because the Clinton campaign refused to campaign or to hold rallies, put any money into these states, and the Trump campaign attacked these states hard and ended up using these states to put them over the top. So the reason that there's definitely a good chance that 2020 could flip back to the Democrats is because it was fairly close electoral college vote when you look at it. Most of this is going to be fought on red turf, so it's going to be a lot of defending for the Trump campaign, and the map is fairly big for a Democrat to flip it back, at least when you consider what I was just saying about how Michigan and Wisconsin are already prime opportunities to flip back. So if you look at a state like Pennsylvania, alright, so let's go look at the actual numbers in Pennsylvania. It went for Trump by some little less than, or a little more than 40,000 votes, I mean to say. And that's a pretty considerable, even though it's less than a percentage point, that's a considerable margin considering this is a state that went for Obama by 6 percentage points in 2012. So you gotta look at where this ground can be made up for a Democrat. And the hard part about Pennsylvania is that the fact that it's really a state that, if you look at the demographics, is a state that what you would think is trending to the right and not to the left. So Chester County is definitely becoming a more blue county. These suburbs of Philadelphia, as with suburbs across major cities all across the country, are becoming more increasingly Democratic. However, is that enough to offset places like up here in coal country in Pennsylvania where they're becoming increasingly more Republican and faster? So I don't know if Pennsylvania is actually the state that you would need if you wanted to flip it back. So basically, if you're looking at the electoral map, a state I would look at as a Democrat would be a state like Arizona, because if you go to the presidential map, Donald Trump only won Arizona by less than 4%, and it's a state that's just becoming more and more purple, and could even be electing a statewide Democrat in Kyrsten Sinema in 2018. We'll see what happens there, but it's definitely a state that will be in play in 2020. So I would honestly look at Arizona as maybe even a more likely pickup opportunity than Pennsylvania for Democrats. And so now let's see what that would mean if you flipped Arizona. That would put it at 269. So where can you get one electoral vote from? You look at Maine and you look at Nebraska, two states that split their electoral votes. Now, I know, common knowledge, you would think Maine would be easier for a Democrat to win that one vote right here in the Maine 2nd district. However, Trump carried that district by 10 percentage points. It's a pretty rural district, and although it went for Obama in 2012 by 10%, or maybe a little less than that, but around 10%. It went for Trump by 10%. If you look at Nebraska, there's that 2nd congressional district in Nebraska only went for Trump by 2% in 2020. So, if you think about it, if a Democrat really were looking at it, the easiest path, in my opinion, to 270, I wouldn't even look at Pennsylvania. I would look at Arizona, and I would look at that 1 congressional district in Nebraska. You flip that, that puts you at, that's, even though it's a very thin margin, that puts you all you need. And that is all you would really need. Obviously 270, it'd be incredibly close, but 270 is what you need to win. So, to recap, the best possible path, in my opinion, for a Democrat would be flipping, obviously, Michigan, Wisconsin, taking those states seriously, but then going hard after that 2nd congressional district in Nebraska, and then going after Arizona, and that would put you at 270, and that would be the easiest path to winning back the White House. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and also if you want to see more content like this, please leave a subscribe, and have a good one.